Patterson blast all that hit. Diving save hard as he flashes across. Reamstead sends up Maher side of the net. Deflected. Score! Reamstead moving in. Stop. Comes to the middle. Still has it. Shot. Score! Here's Hughes getting it across. Oh, save! Save by Maher. Got it to him. He's an angle. Short-handed mid. He scores! Cruising his Provorov. He scores! Ivan Provorov!
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fired Up Podcast. I'm your host, Amedeo Grassia, along with my partner, Chris Maher. As always, we live stream on the Painted Lines, TTP Sports, and Flyers Fan Mania 93, and also a bunch of Facebook pages and Twitter pages as well. So if you don't find us, I think there's something wrong with you there. But still, if you missed the live stream or tune into it late, it is always going to be up on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts at. I know we had the live stream a little bit earlier on Chuck Fletcher's press conference, but this is going to be the actual podcast, live stream reaction to everything. And Chris is here this time. He is out of class, so he is able to react to everything here. So we have a good amount to talk about today, specifically regarding Chuck Fletcher's press conference, where had some interesting details, but then at the end of the day, it still kind of felt like it was just, that usual spiel that they tell you, it's the state of the team. We think we're better than we actually are and everything like that. Even though, me and Chris have stated many times, we do think this team is better than what they're showcasing, but just right now, it's completely spiraled out of control, and you would wish there would be some accountability right now, but yeah, right now the coaching staff looks like they're safe for the time being. It doesn't look like Chuck Fletcher's going to make any moves this early.
Very defendant of the coaching staff, and it to me it's very weird because it's another year of it's another beginning of the season where it trended in the same way last year did, and this season doesn't look like it's if they lose, I think somebody put up a tweet earlier, 7 of their next 10. Just say they lose 7 of their next 10. I think they would have to go 31-17 in the final games to get into the playoffs, and that's basically impossible. So, I mean, look, I really don't know what to say. I think the biggest eye catcher from the entire thing was the apparently the power plays a personnel issue.
But we have a comment right here saying the same exact thing.
Yeah. Come on. If we're going to open it up to the power play, might as well. How do you say this power play is a personnel issue? Out of all things that is shown in this power play. And then he talks about the zone entries. The zone entries is so bad because of the system. To me, the zone entries are that bad because you have to slingshot every time.
Yeah,
why do they still continue to do that?
And then he brought up that one point where the power play has been an issue since 2014-15 and even since you got, I'm just like, if it's been that long, don't you really want to strive to fix it and make it better?
Yeah, it's just it's so frustrating.
And yeah, Joel said they've had every player on the power play that you can think of.
And I think they are. Slot.
Yeah, I think they're changing up the power plays once again. I remember seeing something from Charlie O'Connor talking about that. I think it was Hayes is on the left side. I think Frost might be on the first power play unit if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, look at it right here. Power play 1, Hayes on the left side, Atkinson in the slot, Drew on the right side, Frost is net front, Yandel is on the point. Power play 2. Sean Couturier on the left side, Travis connecting in the slot, Farabee on the right side, JVR net front, and Provorov from the point.
I don't mind that. I like the first unit. Again, I feel like Ellis will make this power play better because in the 5 games he played, the power play actually looked pretty good and had a lot of chances to score. But, yeah, dude, it's just I just don't understand why he's so defendant of the coaches when the legit issue is the coaching. I mean, it can't be talent, can it? I don't know. I really don't know.
A beautiful comment right here from Twitzer saying, apparently Drew, Couturier, TK, Farabee, Frost, and JVR aren't good on the power play. We wouldn't have guessed that myself.
Yeah, and then you can also throw Ellis, Hayes,
Yandel.
Gandil, Atkinson, Brassard. I mean, like there's so many others you can add to that. Apparently, that's not good enough.
We have, Drew should be on the left side. Hayes should be on, they consistently taken Drew out of his, comfort zone, out of his, better shooting side. And right now, the question of why Michel Therrien is getting defended as much as he's been, I don't understand why. Because it kind of felt like weirdly similar today, because I think it was when Fletcher first came into the organization. It was right before Hackstall got fired, and they were having the state of the team. Like the practice was right before the press conference, and then basically you were able to debate what was going to happen during that press conference. And it was like, okay, Hackstall wasn't on the ice at that point. Hackstall was fired during the press conference, so it really wasn't that state you saw. Basically, before the presser, when practices was starting, Lawton, Angelo Ricci, they were out there doing skills work, and then the rest of the team came on the ice. The rest of the coaches came on the ice. You first saw Michel Therrien, and then the rest of the coaches fouled after that. So it's just like, okay, you're not getting a firing tonight. You're just getting your typical State of the Union address.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, look, I personally thought Therrien might have got fired, but then when I saw that he was at practice, I'm like, okay, that's not happening anymore. So I was like, I mean, it's so long overdue for Therrien.
Very, very overdue.
Like the fact that he's still here is just mind-boggling to me. But
I can see the point, because I remember someone bringing up the fact that, okay, Alain Vigneault, if it was going to be Therrien fired, Alain Vigneault probably should have been in the press conference, because he was an Alain Vigneault hire and he brought him in. So maybe I can understand that standpoint, but still, Chuck Fletcher is the guy that makes the decisions. His decisions are final. That's really, it shouldn't matter what Alain Vigneault thinks at that situation. You have to make your team better.
Personally couldn't care that Therrien and Navy are best friends.
Yeah. We got Joel Fairmeme saying he's angry. We got Twitzer saying he's not angry, just numb. Don says he's comfortably numb. Eagles and Flyers both losing on the same day. Yeah, that was not a good Sunday. It definitely was not. And basically right now, Philadelphia sports fans are just reliant right now on the Phillies making a good signing just to brighten the day with everything. So then Joel Fairmeme says Chuck is going to hire Boudreau, and then he wants Boudreau. So, I mean, yeah, Bruce Boudreau, he hasn't had a job, since he was a coach of the Wild, I think?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he definitely is a guy that can bring out the offense in a team. I know there was also rumors possibly about them talking to I think it was Elliot Friedman on one of the radio shows on TSN, saying that maybe they're looking at Rick Tocchet possibly as an assistant, possibly. I'm not sure.
Elliot Friedman said that?
I'm not sure if it was Friedman or someone else on one of those TSN radios. I'm not sure if it was just speculation, or if it was just maybe they're looking at Tocchet or something like that, because right now Flyers are in desperation mode.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of cut out there, but no, I mean, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else gets brought in. I wonder if Boudreau could come in as an assistant. I don't know.
Possibility.
I don't know if that would be the right thing, or if that's maybe not the job they see him doing, but I'm not too sure.
Never know. You got the Nick Castellanos in the comment section. That would be very perfect. Nick Castellanos comes in and then just something terrible happens, and then the meme pops up. Stan joining the chat. How you doing, Stan? Welcome to the live stream, all the way from France. So, how's it been, Stan? I know the last time you joined us, we were I think we were potting late or something like that, and it was in the morning for him. So, yeah. So it's I don't know. It's looking at the rest of this schedule. It's just today you were originally supposed to play the Islanders. That got postponed because of the Islanders' COVID situation. You got the Rangers tomorrow. You got a home back-to-back Saturday and Monday with Tampa Bay and Colorado. That's going to be tough. Those are going to be two tough games. You just got spanked by the Devils. You play them again on the 8th. Then you have a road back-to-back with the Vegas and Arizona. You play the 14th at home against the Devils. You play the 16th on the road against Montreal. 18th at home against Ottawa. 21st at home against Washington. 23rd on the road in Pittsburgh. You'll have your Christmas break, and then you finish out the month with a back-to-back in Seattle and San Jose. So,
little easier month as it goes on.
Speaking of Ottawa, you see the wave Matt Murray.
Yeah.
That's
crazy for Murray though. 2 cups to the Sens, to
everything fell apart,
to waivers. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just Ed saying press conference was a joke, much like the team is right now. Yep. It's basically how it's rolling right now. This steam train is rolling off the tracks. Then Joel Fairmeme says, I don't know if we need any more head coaches behind AV. Lucas says, hi, what's going on with the Flyers? A lot is going on.
A lot of things.
A lot of things.
A lot of things going in the downwards direction.
Joel Fairmeme says, just give Boudreaux the coaching job. Twitzer says, there's only one explanation. The Wells Fargo Center is cursed. Grab your proton packs and smudge sticks and meet me in the parking lot. Stan says, rough time for the Flyers. Got to turn things around. Still think we get hot eventually at some stage. ... I like how the ... is used there. Just, maybe they turn things around, but it's still, I don't know. It's to the point where you just run out of answers and you don't know what to say because you feel like you're repeating yourself constantly. That's what happened last year. You kept repeating yourself constantly because it was the same shit that happened over and over and over again. Yeah. And right now I feel like this past month has been that same, constant over and over and over, same stuff that we just keep bringing up.
Yeah. No, it's reminding me of last season. It's like the same things that are hurting this team constantly. And the one thing that aggravated me, I think, the most, one of the things that aggravated me the most in the press conference was the fact that he continued to bring up the first 10 games of the season. To me, right now, those are essentially irrelevant. You played, it was an easier schedule. You weren't as injured. And honestly, they got really good goaltending. And they stopped getting that in the last handful of games. Not saying that the goalies have been bad, but they have given up some weaker goals that they probably would have saved in the first 10 games. So if you're really going to look at the first 10 games and make that as like your kind of viewing span, then I really don't know what I just don't understand why those were getting brought up constantly when it was a long time ago and you weren't dealing with injuries. And speaking of injuries, I mean, we didn't run through the injuries yet, but I'm going to bring them up because I had them up in my notes. And there was a lot because there was a lot of things that they talked about. And so basically it started when I had joined, he was talking about Ellis. I don't know if I missed anything before. Maybe sometimes I know the stream is like, doesn't go up right away. And maybe there's a couple questions that are missed, but Ellis is making progress. Did see some rehab. It has done a little bit more rehab and it is still around week to week. So hopefully we get an update soon. Allison could play this weekend for the Phantoms. Kevin Hayes is hopeful for tomorrow. Brassard is still out, but he's close as well. Thompson is going to be having surgery. He's going to be out a while, so that's very unfortunate. Patrick Brown is also close too. York is injured. He may play this weekend. Fletcher did mention that there was one player on the Phantoms that did have COVID. I don't know if it's York. I don't know if it's anybody else, but the Phantoms have been killed with injury too. Zayd Wisdom cannot play in the AHL this season, so that was why he was sent down to Kingston. And he might be able to play for Canada for the World Juniors if he can get back on track. I don't know if he will. I would be kind of surprised unless he lights it up in a couple games, but I believe he's close as well. And then the other things that I had on here were just, for my video, but yeah, it was, just very, very, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like the injury thing is getting overridden because it's like everybody's so tired of seeing this. But let's be honest, they are injured. They're down 3 centers, but they are also playing like crap and they have enough talent to be able to play better. So it is what it is. But
we got some more comments right here. Lucas saying, do you think we should get a new captain? I'm not getting into that conversation. Nope.
Yeah.
Not getting into that conversation.
No comment.
Uh,
I think Cole
Twitter,
Drew is perfect.
Twitter saying he was resistant to say this looked like last year, but other than Hart, it's Groundhog Day. We got a Stan saying looks like 2 seasons ago, winning 10 games in a row, then losing 10 games in a row. Yeah, I could see that point. So, and also, yeah, Hayes, yeah, it's still right now. I'm very skeptical right now with Hayes with coming back, just because when he did come back a couple of weeks ago, yes, he was scheduled to come back around that point. He looked slow, but then like a couple of games into the season for him, he gets re-injured. And then now he was expected to be week to week, and it's been exactly 2 weeks. And he's hopeful for tomorrow. That's what Chuck Fletcher said, right? Yeah. So if he does,
isn't playing,
okay,
Hayes is hopeful.
Yeah. So if Hayes does end up playing tomorrow, which my honest opinion, I don't think he should, just because I feel like that's a rush back type of situation for him, and I really don't want him to get re-injured again.
He was out he last played on the 16th. Yeah. Why? It's not even the end of November yet today, and he's hopeful for tomorrow. It's like he hasn't even, and then they put him on LTIR. So if he's out long term, then let him be out long term. Don't rush him back. I know LTIR can be used as a cap thing too, but they didn't use the cap for anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And I kind of don't like, because I'm looking at the lines too that Charlie O'Connor brought up from today.
Oh, they were putrid.
Yeah, so you see, like, the JVR, Farabee, and Couturier line is back together, which I wasn't the biggest fan of when they were playing together. Giroux, Broussard, Atkinson, Lawton, Hayes, Konechny, Frost on the fourth line with Bunneman and McEwen. Oh boy, Lindblom and Willman are the truth. And then the laughable defensive pairing of Provorov and Nick Seeler on the first pair. Sanheim, Ristolainen, the usual second pair, Yandel and Braun as the third pair, and that's just like, yeah. Okay, putting names into a hat generator, and we pull them out.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like to me with that Provorov Sealer pairing.
At this point, you might as well just call up Zamola. I'm so tired of seeing Sealer in the lineup. He's so one-dimensional, and sometimes he looks like he can't even hold his stick right because he's so one-dimensional that it's like, and it's nothing against him. He's put in a tough situation. I think he's actually played really well for being put in that situation.
Yeah, he's your typical seventh defenseman who's been in the lineup for way too long. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's nothing against him, but, I'd rather have somebody else in the lineup. So it is what it is. But as of right now, I think it's a problem if he's your first pair defenseman with Ivan Provorov.
Yes. Yeah, that definitely is something that's
especially going up against the Rangers, who are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. All three of the teams they play in the next 3 games are 7-2-1 in their last 10.
Oh boy,
Rangers, Lightning, Avalanche.
Oh boy, we got Ernie saying right here, McEwen and his fourth line dangles and willingness to drop them in gives me hope, but wish the rest of the team would follow suit. He just looks fired up on every shift. I honestly want them to try McEwen on maybe a power play unit because he's earned that chance.
Put him in front of that.
Yeah, make him. He's a big guy. He has a shot. Put him in front of the net. Take the eyes away from the goalie. Maybe he can pot some rebounds in. Maybe he can spark the power play. Yeah, I think he's earned that chance a little bit to
I think he's earned the spot to play the third line.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him with Frost and maybe Farabee or Broussard, maybe if he comes back soon. He's been easily
one of their best players.
Yeah, easily one of their best players in the last 4 or 5 games. He's noticeable every night, along with Giroux.
I would honestly say he's been one of their best players the entire month.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's definitely been up there.
If I look at the past month of this team for how bad it's been, their best players have been Claude Giroux, Carter Hart, even though like the past couple of games he's had a few hiccups, but he's still not the problem. Martin Jones, Zach McEwen, Joel Farabee has been better the past few games. He has scored a little bit, so hopefully he can find a way to get that hot streak get back going.
That line had 3 goals in 3 games, and Farabee had 3 goals.
Yes,
and they broke it up. Like, this is what I mean. He's reluctant to go back to things that work and breaks them up too early, but then wants to stick with the things that are clearly struggling. The Farabee, Couturier, JVR line has done squat this season when it's been put together. It's barely done anything. He went back with Lawton, Hayes, and Konechny for the first time since the bubble?
I think so.
Like, I think maybe a little bit last season, beginning of the year. I don't know.
Didn't he use them together? I think when Hayes came back, I think he did.
Lawton and Konechny?
Yeah.
I think he might have.
Yeah, I think
I don't remember
they were,
them being on a line. That's the first time this season.
I think they were on the line when Hayes scored his first goal because I remember it was Giroux, Atkinson, Broussard on one line. It was still the Farabee, JVR, Couturier line. I think it was Lawton, Hayes, and Konechny when Hayes came back. If I'm not mistaken, it could have been JVR maybe on that line as well.
It was Farabee, Hayes, Atkinson, Broussard, Lawton, Konechny.
Okay.
Yeah, Broussard was with Lawton and Konechny. Farabee was with Hayes and Atkinson. That should have been switched. That should have been Broussard at the 2C, Hayes at the 3C with Lawton and Konechny on his wing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking at just the rest of the schedule. It's just like it doesn't get any easier. And like at this point, you just can't say like you're playing a tough team every night. You just can't go with the same old. Oh, they play tough teams every single game this entire month. Like, yeah, that's going to factor into why they're losing so many games. But like, yeah, if you look at the beginning of the month, you play Pittsburgh, you play Washington, you play Toronto, but then like some of these other games that you're finding your ways to win, you outplayed Washington in a game and you won 2-1. Carter Hart, he stole a game in Carolina, you won 2-1. You beat Calgary 2-1.
Like you're gonna get wins like that throughout the season, but it's like the dramatic dip of scoring is the problem, and it looks hard. It looks hard to score goals. Jason Martinez said that to me and your Eve on Don't Panic. Like it looks hard for them to score goals, and it does. It looks like they're struggling to score, and the last 5 goals they've scored have been because of talent, and their system is horrible.
Yeah, the way Farabee scored against Carolina on Friday, you wouldn't think. Yeah, you wouldn't think that they were having a goal scoring issue with the way he did that. You think they have all the confidence in the world,
right? You have the Drew pass to Provorov, Farabee with the individual effort, and then Frostman a nice pass to Risto that found net, and then in the Devils game, Lawton with a beautiful goal, shorthanded, and you have the
pouncing on a lucky
goal off of a turnover, but it happens, and that wasn't really anything with the Flyers system. It was a messed up exit, so
yeah,
still talent because they scored it, but you get my point. It's they're really struggling to score here.
Yeah, it's just if I'm looking through the rest of the team as well, just like stats wise, and Claude Giroux still leads this team in points, 17 points in 20 games. Couturier still struggling to, just put up points on the board. I just don't know what's wrong with Coots right now, especially. He just doesn't look like himself. He has 14 points. Atkinson, he has 11 points in 20 games. Surprisingly, he is still a +9 on the board. Like, so it's Atkinson. He's not on the ice when other teams score. Now he's just struggling to put the puck into the net.
Uh-huh. Couple updates on those injuries too. Broussard is hip is day to day, and then Brown is seeing a hand specialist tomorrow.
Okay.
Basically to see if he's able to hold his stick. That's the main thing. Thompson's surgery is today, expected to be out a significant amount of time, like I mentioned. And Ellis is going to resume rehab tomorrow after taking the week off. Okay. Remains week to week, but is making progress. So some of the things I said didn't have all the details because I didn't write it all down because I kind of said it all at one time. But those are the updates. Official updates, I should say.
Stan asked how many points does Jay Van Reamstead have? He has 6 points in 20 games.
6? What 2 goals, 5 assists?
2 goals, 4 assists.
And JVR essentially has 1 goal because the goal he scored against Dallas was
just a fluky goal.
A fluke goal.
That went off of one of the defensemen.
And the other one was a really nice set play, which was gorgeous by him too to score that. But besides that, and that was back in October. JVR hasn't scored a goal this month.
No, he hasn't. Nope.
So
we got Ernie saying it seems at times they look to make the pass when they should obviously shoot. Screw the pretty play, shoot the puck, at least so I can stop yelling at the TV.
Well, I mean, when Sanheim had that chance against Carolina in front of the net, and he goes to pass it when there's 2 guys, I believe he was covering Frost. that was where I was starting to think, okay, these guys are lacking confidence. And like you could see it, but that like proved it to me. Like, and it's not even with the power play and everything and things like that. Like Fletcher said it today. The one thing I did like that he said was there's a difference between lacking confidence and not having confidence to score goals and things like that, and guys not having the drive to play and compete and all that stuff. And that's one thing that I did agree with, because he did say that the mood at practice was good, and I kind of was getting that vibe off of some of the tweets that were coming out too. It was like, it's not like the guys are all doom and gloom about it. Like, they know that they can get out of this, and I feel like they can too. That's the thing. We know like this team can be better, but it's just so unbelievably frustrating when it's so early into the season and you didn't have this expectation this early. And is it me, Amedeo? Does this stretch kind of remind you of the January stretch in the 2019-20 season when they lost, I believe, 6 in a row, or I think it was maybe 6 out of a possible 7 or something like that on that road trip, and they ended up losing to Vegas, Arizona, and they just did not look good. And they ended up coming home and they played better again.
Because that's the thing, because I'm not sure if it's similar to that, because I feel like that entirety was just like
that late Christmas stretch.
I'm not sure. Just because right now it looks like just the entire team is lacking confidence.
Yeah.
And like,
well, that's kind of what reminded me of that too, was like, I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, it kind of reminds me of that, because it seemed like they were lacking confidence then, and then they had they were on the road for a while, and they ended up coming home and they played better and they won. I believe that was the game Hayes scored shorthanded against Washington. They won 3-2. And they ended up and then they started to win games again. So that's kind of what I mean. Like, I feel like it's just a lack of confidence thing, and they are injured, but they definitely can play better. There's no denying that at all.
Yeah, I'm sure most people would realize this team is way better than what they're showcasing. And
honestly, is it me, or I didn't mean to cut you off, but does it seem like they actually played better last game? Like, it felt like that loss was better than the other ones.
Yeah, because they did actually have some moments in the game where they were actually controlling
the majority of the
pace.
third. It was the last, that like 2-3 minute stretch where they got 2 goals off of turnovers.
Yeah, because
honestly, if that's cleaned up, I think the Flyers win that game.
Yeah, because there was a lot of when they tied the game, they were controlling a lot of that pace in that third period. They were in the double zone, they were hampering them down, but then you had that one terrible shift between Ristolainen and Provorov that just really the rails came off the track at that point, because one turnover turned into 20 turnovers and the Devils just pounced on every single one of them. And at that point, it's just like, I hope that doesn't like ruin their confidence more. It's just like, man, we had this good stretch, but then we made one mistake and 2 mistakes, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I really hope that just doesn't, screw them up even more mentally. That's, I think, one of the issues there. So, and I kind of like I know with Hart the past couple of games, he has been the best, but he's not the main issue. I really hope it's not like, that one goal that he allowed the Stamkos got into his head a little bit in the next few games. I hope that's not the issue with him.
I don't think so. I think that was just a combination of him having a bad game and then them also having some pretty tough defensive breakdowns at the same time. And also Carolina just being Carolina. Like, they are a good team and they'll make it pay. Yeah. And they did that. And Hart got beat high on the glove 3 times. And they had 2 defensive breakdowns on the 4th and 3rd goal, and the 5th goal, actually 3 goals I forgot they scored 6. Yeah, they that was not their best game, and they had a lot of turn. Like, that was it was just a poor performance against Carolina. Like, it felt like offensively they were scoring, but like they weren't. Like, everything they've had was one and done. Yeah. In those 5. Felt like against New Jersey, they had more zone time, and they were able to generate chances off of that. In the first period, the first couple of minutes were, I personally felt like they were more back and forth than it seemed like. Everybody was kind of making it like it was the Devils. Just, I mean, they had zone time, but they didn't have many shots, so that's why maybe I was kind of leaning more in the middle. But it felt like after the Hamilton goal, which was another breakdown, that really felt like the Flyers kind of got their game going then after that. And I really like the power play too. Like the power play definitely had their looks. They looked a lot better. And I honestly do have a feeling that I think the Flyers are going to win one of these next 3 games. I don't know what one, but I feel like they will win one of them. I'm hoping tomorrow against the Rangers to go into the homestand and have a couple days off. We're coming off of a win. But the Rangers are playing well. Not saying the Flyers can't beat them, because I do think healthy on paper, I do think the Flyers are better than the Rangers.
I do think this game might have some animosity to it just because of how many times the Rangers embarrassed us last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, especially like with McEwen, and now they also have Ryan Reeves. So
yeah,
there's going to be
9-0 and 8-3 to them.
Yeah.
Last season should give you a reason to go, kick their teeth in New York.
Yeah.
So
I do want to see McEwen go after someone at least. Just like we're not.
Yeah.
Just hopefully something can go there.
Mm-hmm.
It's because if you can find a way to win tomorrow's game, you got 3 days off to build on that. Then you have 2 very hard home games to come up with, because you got, like I said earlier, Tampa Bay, and for some reason, what the fuck is Shore Night? Like, what is that for promotion?
I think that's another promotion to try to get fans in the seats.
Shore Night, okay.
What are they giving out? Anything?
I have no idea. I just like. I knew they were doing this from the.
I mean, why are you complaining? You'll probably get a nice beach towel or a bucket hat.
Yeah, because and then the Monday game against Colorado, that hopefully should be an entertaining one. Colorado, very entertaining team to watch. I'll be in the press box.
Coming back.
I'll be coming back. Yeah, that'll be the ideal Flyers. I'll be in the press box that night for you guys. So
I'll be there Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, so I think definitely one of those 2 games we should do something before the game, like a stream, like if we're able to get like a Wi-Fi, something to work there, do like a pre-game
Yeah, the
stream.
Wi-Fi at the Farg is not the best on the Xfinity. The Xfinity connection.
Yeah. So I think if we do plan to do something like that for one of those 2 games, I think a mobile hotspot's probably going to be the best idea, hopefully. So we'll definitely figure out as those times come. But yeah, you got to find ways to. You just got to find ways to win. That's the bottom line.
If the Flyers can get a dirty 2-1 something win to get them back into it, that's fine. I know that would be like, oh well, they're struggling to score again. Yeah, obviously, but if you're able to win the game and build momentum off of that and get a team building win, then I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, get a win, get a bounce back game from Carter Hart. I would assume he's starting tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So
I would assume Hart starts the next 3 games.
Yeah. Maybe not the back, maybe not the home back-to-back, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to go for.
There's no reason why he couldn't start a home back-to-back, though.
Yeah.
There's no travel in between. There's no anything. You're at home.
Yeah, I want to see if they. Okay, so right now, no one is confirmed currently for tomorrow's game. Not the Rangers, not the Flyers.
We'll probably figure out tomorrow morning, but I would assume it's Hart.
Yeah, I would assume it's Hart. I would assume it's just Sirkin for the Rangers.
Mm-hmm. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, I want to look at the Rangers roster currently to see who is doing what for their team. So we got Panarin.
I know Kreider's got a lot of goals.
Yeah, Kreider has 15. 15 goals, 3 assists. He's been putting the puck in the net. We got Panarin, Adam Fox. They lead the team in points, 21 each. Kreider has 18 points, but the 15 goals. Benajad has 16 points. Strome has 14. Trouba has 8. Lafreniere, he has 5 goals this year, but 6 points. Kakko only has 6 points. Looking at the rest of the team, Ryan Reeves has 3 points. That's funny. So, yeah, definitely a big discrepancy between 2 goaltenders on that team. We have Igor Shesterkin, who has been fantastic for them, 11-3-2. A 2.22 goals against average and a 9.33 save percentage with 1 shutout. But then you have Alexander Georgiev, who is 2-1-1 with a 4.08 goals against average and an 8.58 save percentage. That's a major discrepancy. But knowing that, they'll start Georgiev tomorrow, and he'll shut the Flyers out, and he'll get a shutout.
50 save shutout.
Yep.
Flyers hit 10 posts. Have you ever seen that clip of like the soccer penalty shot, and like the goalie's just like laying down and it keeps hitting him in the face?
Yeah.
And they just can't score. That would be Georgiev.
Reeves is on fire with 6 points. LOL. Yeah, I want to look at Kreider right now just to see. Yeah, he has 15 goals and he's taken 60 shots so far, and his shooting percentage is 25%. So yeah, he's really putting the puck on net.
Yeah, he's just shooting. I don't blame him.
Yeah,
and he's bread and butter in front of the net on the power play.
Yep.
So
yeah, Keandre Miller, he's got 3 points on the season. Looking at some other, Philip Sheedle, Ryan Lindgren, all these other guys. Barclay Goudreau, he has 9 points for them. Yeah, so there's not that, like, Kreider definitely is the major guy. So it looks like it's pretty more evened out scoring wise throughout the entire team. It's been their goaltending definitely that's been a major factor for them, and also Adam Fox is putting up another Norris type season with 21 points.
Yeah,
it's just amazing that, like, I know he was drafted by Calgary. But it's just like another one of those situations where, okay, I got drafted by this team. I'm not going to sign with them. I'm going to go sign with the Rangers.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that so much, but some players do that.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact situation, but I don't remember kind of how it went down. But I think, wasn't it when he got drafted, like the Flames didn't – was it something with the Flames, or was it Fox? I don't remember.
I'm not sure, because I know there's been like so many. There's been like a couple of those that I know it happened with. I'm not sure if he was drafted. I know Jimmy Vesey, when he came out of college, he went for the Rangers. I'm trying to think of like other guys that got drafted that like didn't sign with their team and signed with the Rangers. I know Fox is one of those guys. So, and Joel Fairman saying Scott Stallings or Scott Sterling. That's what he means. So what do you mean about Scott Sterling? What do you mean right there, Joel?
That's the guy who got hit with the soccer save.
Oh.
Yeah, that I just mentioned.
Okay. Didn't know if he meant anything right there. Yeah, so the Rangers, I want to see their past couple of games as well. So like you said, there's 7. If I look at the standings right now, they are, 7-2-1. Their last 10, like Chris said, in their past 10 games, the matchups that they've had. So they look at their month of November, actually. Okay, they lost in overtime to Vancouver. They lost in overtime to Edmonton. They got shut out by the Calgary Flames, so that was a tough Western Canadian road trip. They came back home. They beat Florida 4-3. Had a lot of days off. Beat Columbus 5-3. They beat the Devils in a shootout. Beat Montreal 3-2. Lose to Toronto 2-1. Their game against Ottawa got postponed because of their Ottawa's COVID situation at the time. Beat Buffalo 5-4. Beat the Islanders 4-1. Beat the Bruins on Black Friday 5-2. Their past game, which was supposed to be on Sunday against the Islanders, that was another one that got postponed. So, yeah, the Rangers haven't played since Friday, so they're going to be a well-rested team coming into Wednesday. Oh, yeah, Kevin Hayes was also one of those guys, too. He was drafted by the Hawks, but he signed with the Rangers. I forgot about that.
Who else has kind of been like that?
I know there's definitely plenty of those guys. I think there's like a list that you have to find, like NHL drafted players signed to Rangers. If that's like a too much of a generic thing, don't think there is any. Adam Fox, Kevin Hayes. I know there's been like a good amount of people that have done that. I don't know at the top of my head, but I know there's been a good amount of players that have done that in the
Ryan
lifetime.
Strome?
No, I don't think Strome did.
Wasn't Ryan Strome drafted by the Oilers?
Strome was originally, I think, on was he on the Islanders, or I think he was on the Islanders.
I could have sworn he was drafted by the Oilers and then he was traded to the Islanders.
Let me see. Let's see, Ryan Strome. I remember him being drafted. Let's see.
No, he was drafted by the Islanders. I'm wrong.
Yeah, drafted by the Islanders. He was traded to the Oilers. Then he went to the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He was a number 5 overall pick.
Yeah, Blake Wheeler back in the day, he was originally drafted by Arizona but signed in Boston. Yeah, technically Lindros was a person that didn't want to play for Winnipeg, but the Flyers had to trade for his rights. So it wasn't like he chose to sign in Philadelphia. Flyers had to give up so many assets just to, acquire his rights from Quebec. So
okay. Yeah. Was Forsberg or no?
no, I
He
don't
was
think
he
I
was
don't
drafted. Was he drafted?
Forsberg was drafted by the Flyers and then was used in the trade to get Lindros.
Yeah.
But then he originally, when I think he was a free agent, he signed in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Because I know he played here twice, right, in 2 tenures.
He only played here for 2 years. That was it. I don't think he ever played in a Flyers uniform after he was drafted. I think he got drafted by the Flyers. He played in Sweden, got traded for Lindros, and then he played, I think, the first year for Quebec, and then they moved to Colorado, I believe. I believe that's how it went down. But then when he became a free agent around that lockout time, he signed with the Flyers.
He was number 6 overall pick in 91, and then played 5 years in the SEL. Then went to Quebec for a season, and then went to the Avs from 95-96 until 03-04. And then in the lockout, went back to the SEL, then played 2 years with the Flyers, like you just mentioned, then went to Nashville for 1 season.
Yeah, he got traded. He got traded for Nashville halfway through the terrible year of 06-07 for Scotty Upshaw, I think.
Yeah, to put up 15 points in 17 games, and then played 2 more years in the SEL, and then played 2 games in 10-11 with the
Avalanche,
and then that was it. But
yeah, then he retired. It just
he was
sucks
almost
for
a
him.
point per game player.
No, actually,
was over a point per game player.
No, literally every time he came back into the lineup after injury, he was over a point per game player. He just sadly could not stay healthy.
Yeah,
he had so many leg injuries, it just wasn't even fun. His first year with the Flyers, he was over a point per game. I think he played 60 games or something like that, and he was injured, I think, during the beginning part of that year, I believe.
In 06-07, had 40 points in 40 games. The year before, 75 and 60.
Yeah. Yeah, so he put up points. So there was no question about that. It was just his health that was the major concern. Points scoring wise, it wasn't a concern with Forsberg, sadly. Or not sadly, actually. It's just sadly he was not able to stay healthy at all. Which was one of the main reasons why he was never able to get over the 1,000 game plateau, but still ended up in the Hockey Hall of Fame, which is really good.
Yeah.
We got a question from Don saying, would you consider trading for Jake DeBrusk? I feel like you would get into the same issues with Jake DeBrusk. He's one of those more streaky type of guys, and he just never, I guess, was really able to find, that consistent basis of what he was projected to be when Boston drafted him. Was never really work his way up in the lineup, was never really a consistent scorer, what he was projected to be. You never know. A change in scenery could be good for him, but I feel like you would just get into the same issues if you acquired him. And who knows what Boston would want for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just looking at his numbers on my phone here. And it's surprising that I feel like it's like every year the Bruins always have that issue with depth scoring.
Yes.
And he's a guy he's had some pretty decent seasons. 70 games played, 43 points, 68, 42, 65, 35, 41, 14. So he's around a 40, 45 point player if he can play majority of the season. And that can change in a change of scenery. But he's I don't know too much about him personally. But that comment, I don't know, and I don't want to comment on that. But he's still pretty young. He's only 25. I don't know if the Flyers would trade for him. I feel like it would kind of just be another move to bring in another winger that isn't necessarily I wouldn't say a sniper, but he is a shooter. And I don't know. I mean, if the Flyers were to give up something, what do you think they would give up?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm honestly, I wouldn't even know what Jake DeBrusk is worth at this point.
His cap hit is 3.6. After this season, he is a UFA, RFA, restricted free agent. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm not entirely sure of. So it's just, yeah, I'm not even sure what you could be worth, honestly, for what 40 to 45 points consistently, usually. And I know like there is that whole thing where he can't take criticism. I think that's like a whole Boston media type of thing. It's the same thing how they treat Grassia and everything, and how he's treated with the Boston media. The Boston media hates him, especially. So I think it's one of those similar type of situations. I think Ras just handles it better than the Brusque has.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those type of deals. But yeah, I'm not sure what Boston would, maybe like what you said, second round pick. Maybe they would want a prospect for him or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but not sure. Definitely not.
I think that's a lot for DeBrusque. For a guy who hasn't necessarily proven much, I think that's a lot. Two roster players and a draft pick. I would just go roster player and a pick. But that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who you give up though. And the thing, I don't know if that's, I think the Flyers want a center. But it did sound like, again, as I mentioned, it did sound like Fletcher was open to add another weapon on the power play. And I am not opposed to that at all, because I would love Tarasenko, Miller, somebody to just fire pucks. Just fire it. I mean, I know it's different in the NHL today to just shoot from anywhere to try to score, but like when you're having that many issues and you're not scoring, shoot. Just shoot anytime you get into the zone, create havoc in front of the goalie. And yeah, that's all I can say. But you know, when all your chances are one and done, it's pretty hard to do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have sustained zone time.
Yeah, that's definitely another reason why you can't, like, you would lack that confidence, and just, you know, like what you said, just if you're lacking confidence, just try to get into the zone and put pucks on net as much as you can. And I'm trying to see on Twitter if there is anything on here. So, and also it's other news that it's around the NHL as well. Brad Marchand got suspended for I think 3 games, and I think I see something right here to where why he was suspended that time. He basically, what ended up leading to that suspension was, you know, previous history. So I feel like a lot of Boston fans are complaining about that, but that's just typical Boston fan. Like Brad Marchand.
Well, yeah, because Marchand doesn't do anything wrong. So, you know, he can lick a guy and they basically receive nothing. So.
Yeah, Brad Marchand is an amazing player in this league. Sadly, he's just dirty. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything that is here on Twitter to talk about from anything updating from like Fletcher. Now, I don't think there is anything right now with anything on Twitter. We got Soto saying that agrees with Chris the last time. I don't care if they get rid of all the next year's draft picks. Talking about moving forward.
Yeah, if you're looking to try to win this season, get rid of your picks. You can get them back. You can get draft picks back. It's not that difficult. You can swap picks at the draft. We've seen it before. Many teams have done it, and I just don't think it's time for the Flyers to keep building through the draft. To me, they're closer to a cup than they are a first overall pick. Clearly. Like, they're not that bad of a team that's like, okay, we're in rebuild mode. You know what I mean? But they're not that close to a cup either. They're just dead in the middle. And they're not leaning anywhere towards either way. They're just dead in the middle. So
we got Don saying, at least we aren't the Habs fans. That is a dumpster fire. Oh yeah, Mark Bergevin getting let go. And it does, like, in the rumor
Danny
mill.
Briere is a top candidate.
Yeah, I saw that. That's the thing. Like, I can understand, like, with Montreal's standpoint, like, for some reason, they always want to hire that guy that's fluent in French and English at the same time. I just don't understand why they constantly have to do that. But Danny Briere, he's an up and coming guy working through the kinks and everything down with the Flyers. The Maine Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
So he's working as the GM of that team. I could definitely understand looking at. That'd be an interesting point. They sound like a franchise that wants to, I guess, reset everything. Maybe that's a team that looks to rebuild for the future. Maybe they want to get a young GM in there just to see if what works, I guess. And if it becomes Danny Briere, good luck to him.
Yeah. Trevor, both of those teams were pretty close to Stanley Cups in the last couple of years. So if we're going to talk about, we could be who or what or whatever right now, then I don't think those two teams I'd look at to be on my list.
Yeah,
I'd look at Arizona as one. The Islanders and the Canadiens, no. The Canadiens made the Cup final last season, and the Islanders have made the Eastern Conference Finals the last handful of years and have been insane. So,
because the Islanders right now, they're filled with injuries. They're filled with COVID problems. So I think, and also they started this season with 13 straight road games. Of course, they're going to struggle at the start of the season. That was just like evident at that point. And then, you add the injuries, you add the COVID issues. So I think the Islanders eventually get better, but who knows? Maybe all that stuff is too much and they spiral out of control the rest of the season. They build up for next year. But the same thing with the Canadiens. They're a story where, they got into the playoffs because of a COVID rampant league. They were only playing in the Canadian division. I can understand that, but the Canadian story also just proves that you get into the playoffs, anything could happen. You get hot at the right time. And that's where, I understand people are frustrated too. I get into my points where I overreact, of course, because that's just a generic, day in life as a Flyers fan. But I think most people would say this team is way better than what they're producing. Chris has said it many times before with how many times he's been frustrated with this team. I've seen many negative Flyers fans on Twitter say this exact same thing, even though this team frustrates the hell out of them. They know this team is way better than what they're producing right now. It's just the fact that how do you get out of this rut? And if they do, hopefully they do. I do think they will eventually, but it's just depend on is it going to be too late when they get out of this rut, or how long are they going to wait to make, the right changes that they need to make? Right. And that's the question.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think it's when is it too late? And that's why I mentioned, is it going to be you lose again, say they lose 7 in their next 10, it's like, you know what I mean? So we'll see how it all plays out, but I do think the month of December will be better for them, and the schedule does get easier, and hopefully you get guys back, and hopefully they start to pick up a couple wins and get back into the swing of things. But
I still find it weird though that certain teams in the division, they're only playing a few times. Like the Devils, they played them on Sunday, and they only played them 2 more times in the next 2 weeks, and that's it. They played them on the 8th.
They have one of the weirdest schedules I've ever seen.
I know.
This schedule is arguably worse than the 1920 schedule, which was pretty bad because you had Prague in the beginning of the year, Western Canada. It was just bananas what the entire schedule they had. And
you wrap up your season series with Tampa Bay on Sunday. You'll wrap up your season series with the Devils on the 14th.
Yeah.
And then you don't play teams like Pittsburgh again until January. You play I guess without the postponement with this Islanders game, now you don't play them until January.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Vancouver in the home opener was the first time in what, first time a Canadian team was the home opener? I don't even remember.
I don't remember the last time a Canadian team. I think the last time a Canadian team was the home opener probably was Vancouver again. I think so many years ago. That could have been, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though. But
in 2011,
it was either Vancouver or Colorado that year. I remember I think they opened up that.
2010 was Colorado.
2010 was Colorado.
2010. 2011. No, it was 13. It was the Leafs.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah, Toronto.
Okay.
To the 12-13 in the Leafs.
Yeah, look at it because, the month of December, you actually do play Pittsburgh. I don't know why I completely, that slipped my mind. You play other division opponent. You play Washington again in December, Pittsburgh again. And then, you don't play Columbus until January. Your first game against Buffalo isn't until January. I'm trying to look into February as well because you don't play Detroit until February, actually. No, January too. March.
Yeah, January 18th.
Yes.
Yeah. You and my dad are actually going to both of those games, I think. The 18th and the 20th. because his favorite team is second favorite team is the Red Wings, and he wants to see the Red Wings. And then we already have tickets to the 20th because that's Jake's first game back in Philly, and he got those the day that the single game tickets went on sale. So we might be getting both of those games, but yeah, they're different. Sorry.
Chris wants to know. Don wants to know. Actually, Chris, what's your experience been working for the Flyers?
I mean, I wouldn't really say I work for them, but I do appreciate you thinking of it that way. No, it's been fun. I mean, me and Amedeo, we do a really good job, I think, with this, and it's been fun getting to talk about this stuff after every game. And YouTube is always fun, and making content's fun. So, I mean, overall, I think everybody can kind of say that they've done it. And Amedeo, I'm sure you could even say it too.
Yeah, it just like
I think
the one thing is that I think the Flyers need to give like Chris an actual like good season, so where he doesn't have to worry about literally everything possible. This man has only seen like one good season in his entire life.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It's a problem. But
oh god, oh my god, it's just. I don't know. You've just been so unlucky just becoming a Flyers fan. And you get Soto saying, let's get a Vander Kane. No. I don't think that's the last thing they need. It's the last person they need on the roster with all the drama that he brings over. It's just, I don't need that. I don't need that. And I want to look around the league right now as well. Just looking at how some of the other teams are doing. So you got Pacific Division. Vancouver and Seattle, they're still in the bottom of that division, 16, 17 points for each of them. Los Angeles, they got 21 points. San Jose, they've been dropping off a little bit in the past couple of games. They have 23. Vegas, they're in fourth place with 24. Anaheim still on their hot start to the season. They have 25 points. Edmonton and Calgary still lead the way in that division. Edmonton with 30 and Calgary with 31 points. Arizona, did you see the game that they played last night against Winnipeg? Where they had like a
46 save. Yeah, Vejmelka. I had a feeling that was going to happen at some point. That almost happened against us.
That's just like from the way he was playing. I actually do want to see his stats now on the season. How if they're still as good as last time when I checked them when they played the Flyers. So Vejmelka, so he's played 12. He's played 14 games, started 12 of those. He's 2-9-1. With a 280 goals against average and a 916 save percentage. So, yes, he's been really good. And the other goaltender, too, Scott Wedgwood, has been good. Started in 6 games.
That guy's on the Coyotes or the Devils. Like, he doesn't play for any other team.
Because I guess they just gave up on the Carter Hutton experiment because he was just flat out awful for them. Wedgwood, he's 3-3-1, 245 goals against average, 929 save percentage. So... their goaltending's been fine for them. It's just
he won a Stanley Cup too. He just won a cup.
He did.
He won a cup with Tampa.
Wedgwood.
He was on their AHL team in 1920.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, New Jersey Devils AHL team. Ontario, Rochester, Syracuse, the Devils, Coyotes.
We got
there's a picture of him on Google lifting the cup in a Tampa jersey in the bubble.
Interesting.
So maybe he was there as on the taxi squad.
Possibly. Selke says, is the reality here that the Flyers are going to miss the playoffs and end up on the bottom of the conference? I don't think that at all. I don't think they're that putrid in what they're showcasing.
I think they're a middle of the pack.
Yeah, looking at these
wild
teams,
card team.
Looking at these teams at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, they're not as putrid as Ottawa. Islanders, they're not. I don't think the Islanders are even as putrid as they're showcasing. They're just very injured and they're COVID ridden, and just their schedule has not been friendly to them. I don't think the Islanders are as bad as they're showcasing. Montreal, they're not as bad as Montreal. Buffalo, they've died off ever since their hot start. I don't think they're as putrid as Buffalo is. And you look at the rest of these teams in the conference as well. The Devils, they're a nice young team. I think they're going to get better as the season goes along, but I don't think they're a playoff team. Boston, they're an up and down team still. I think they struggle to score depth-wise. It's that first line, basically, or die. And Charlie McAvoy, he's a really good, really like one of the best defensemen in the NHL. Detroit, do I think they keep up this stretch? I don't think so. They have 23 points so far in 22 games. They're 10-9-3, but their goal differential is a -10. They've been a really good home team, but they've sucked on the road. I don't think they keep up the way they're playing. Columbus, do they keep up the way they've been playing? They have 24 points. I'm not sure. I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think Columbus is as good as they're playing right now. Pittsburgh, they're always a team you can never count out. Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay. The Rangers, I think with the way they're playing right now, I think with the way their goaltending is, I think they stay this way until something happens with them badly. Florida, they're Florida. Carolina is Carolina. Toronto is Toronto. And Washington is Washington. So right now, I see the Flyers in that middle range. I see them better than Detroit. I see them better than Columbus. I see them maybe neck and neck with Boston in that range. I think Flyers are probably the same level as Boston if, everything was going well. But right now, they need to find a way to get out of this rut that they're in.
No, for sure. I mean, it's just a problem. Like it's like, again, I don't want to sound like repetitive, but it gets to that point where you just see the same things over and over and over again. So I don't know, man.
And right now, your teams that are leading for the President's Trophy are Toronto and Washington. So Washington, with all the injuries that they're dealing with, Ovechkin has just been unreal this year.
Yeah. And no Backstrom.
Yeah. Ovechkin, 37 points in 22 games, 19 goals, 18 assists. The man has been on fire.
That is insane.
Yep. Man, I would kill for an Alex Ovechkin. I would kill for it. I'd kill for it.
Hard does start in 2 or more consecutive games. We've already seen that this season.
Like, are you trying to see back-to-back games, like literally on a back-to-back, or just like you think he hasn't been starting like consecutive games recently? Because he has. Like, even looking at their schedule, and they're past so many games.
Jones plays like 1 every 3 games, 4 games.
So like, yeah, they're past so many games. You got, like, I understand you saw Jones more frequently just because of the back-to-backs.
Their schedule is horrible. It is not. It has nothing to do with their goaltending, and it has nothing to do with they can't ride a goaltender. It's just the fact that their schedule is so bad, and then you have an entire month off in February.
Yeah, because you got
the Olympics.
Yeah,
and Hart could play.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're looking at this entire month. Hart played against Arizona. He played against Pittsburgh. He played against Toronto. He played against Carolina. He played against Calgary. He played against Tampa Bay. He played against Tampa Bay again. He played against Carolina. So he's played majority of the games this month. And Jones, he played in Washington. He played in Dallas. He played against Boston. He played against Florida. And he played against the Devils. So Hart started majority of the games this month.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm not. That's not something that concerns me at all.
No, definitely does not. I think Hart gets better as the season goes along, and hopefully this team can follow through. But we need to wait for that until tomorrow because the Flyers, they were supposed to play today, but it got postponed because of the Islanders' COVID situation. So you got Rangers tomorrow, 7 p.m. Looks like it's going to be on NBC Sports, Philadelphia Plus, and also NHL Network. So there you go. The Flyers will have tomorrow's game, and then they'll have 3 days off to prepare for a home back-to-back with Tampa Bay and Colorado. So definitely still the schedule does not get any easier from there. Hopefully they can find a way to finally snap this 6-game losing streak, and hopefully that starts tomorrow, and they can build off that. So thankfully, I don't know. I think I'm just running out of answers at this point, so I think it's a good time to end the podcast. So thank you, everyone here, for joining this edition of the Florida Podcast. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines wherever they're at, YouTube, social media. Definitely go hit that sub button to them. Definitely subscribe to our separate YouTube channels, TTP Sports for me, Flyers Fan Mania 93 for Chris. Definitely check out the individual Twitter accounts, the Flyered Up Twitter account, Chris's Twitter account, my Twitter account, Painted Lines, wherever. Definitely check out all the links in the description below. Thank you for everyone for tuning in to here. It's going to be on Apple and Spotify after this stream is over. So thank you, everyone, for joining, and we will see you next time.